Hey, science fans! Have you ever wished you could hold a piece of metal and watch it melt, like a chocolate bar on a super hot day? Well, guess what? There's a metal that can do just that, right in the palm of your hand. It's not magic, it's science. And this amazing metal is called gallium. Imagine holding a solid, silvery piece of metal. It looks like any other metal, maybe like a piece of aluminum or silver. But then, as you hold it, your body heat starts to work its wonders, and slowly, it begins to turn into a liquid puddle. How cool is that? This isn't a trick from a superhero movie. It's a real scientific phenomenon that you can observe. Gallium is a truly unique element, a special kind of metal that breaks all the usual rules we think about when we picture metals. We often think of metals as being super strong and hard, things you build bridges or cars with, right? Things that need a super hot furnace to melt. But gallium is different. It's a soft, silvery blue metal when it's solid. You could even cut solid gallium with a knife, though you'd need to be careful. It's more like a dense, soft cheese than a block of steel. This softness is just one of its many fascinating characteristics that make it stand out in the world of elements. This incredible metal isn't something you'd use to build a skyscraper, that's for sure. Its special trick is its incredibly low melting point. We're talking about a temperature that's just a little bit warmer than a pleasant spring day. Your own hand, which is usually around 37 degrees Celsius or 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, is like a furnace for gallium. This makes it one of the few metals that can be liquid near room temperature. Mercury is another one, but gallium is much safer to handle, which makes it extra cool for science demonstrations and learning. It's like nature's own little magic trick, all thanks to the laws of physics and chemistry. The story of gallium's discovery is pretty neat too. It wasn't just stumbled upon in a mine, it was actually predicted to exist before anyone ever saw it. A brilliant scientist named Dmitri Mendeleev, the creator of the periodic table of elements, noticed a gap in his table. He said, "Hey, there should be an element here with these specific properties." And a few years later, in 1875, another scientist, Paul-Émile Lecoq de Bois-Baudran from France, found it and named it gallium, after Gallia, the old Latin name for France. Science is all about prediction and discovery. So, what exactly this gallium stuff? Well, in the grand library of science we call the periodic table of elements, gallium has its very own special spot. It's element number 31, and its chemical symbol is Ga. Think of the periodic table as a big chart that organizes all the building blocks of everything in the universe. Each element has a number, called its atomic number, which tells us how many protons are in the nucleus of one of its atoms. So, every atom of gallium has exactly 31 protons. This specific number is what gives gallium its unique identity and all its cool properties, like that famous melting trick we talked about. Now, you might be wondering, where can we find this amazing metal? Do we dig it up like gold or iron? Not quite. Gallium is a bit shy. It doesn't usually hang out all by itself in big, pure chunks in the Earth's crust. Instead, it's typically found in very small amounts, kind of hiding inside other minerals. It's like a secret ingredient in a bigger recipe. You'll find traces of gallium in things like bauxite, which is the main ore we get aluminum from. It's also found in zinc ores like sphalerite and even in some types of coal. It's quite widespread, but always in these tiny concentrations. Because gallium is so spread out and mixed in with other stuff, getting pure gallium is a bit of a science adventure itself. Scientists and engineers have to use clever chemical processes to extract it and refine it. It's usually obtained as a byproduct when processing those other ores, like bauxite for aluminum production. This means that the amount of gallium we can produce is often linked to how much aluminum or zinc is being mined and processed. It's a fascinating chain of events, all to get this one special metal that can melt in your hand. It's a reminder that many valuable materials are part of complex systems. The discovery story we touched on is worth another look because it shows how smart scientists can be. Dmitri Mendeleev, when he designed his periodic table around 1871, predicted an element he called Eka aluminum. He described its properties like its density and melting point with amazing accuracy, even though no one had seen it yet. Then, 4 years later, Paul-Émile Lecoq de Bois-Baudran spectroscopically identified gallium. When he finally isolated enough of it, its properties matched Mendeleev's predictions almost perfectly. This was a huge win for the periodic table and showed its power to predict new science. Alright, let's talk about gallium's number one talent, its super low melting point. This is what makes it so famous. Solid gallium melts at just 29.76 degrees Celsius, which is about 85.57 degrees Fahrenheit. Think about that. A hot summer day can be warmer than that. Your own body temperature is around 37 degrees Celsius, 98.6 Fahrenheit. So if you hold a piece of solid gallium in your hand, your natural body heat is more than enough to turn it from a solid into a silvery liquid puddle. It's like an ice cube, but it's metal. This property is incredibly rare for metals. Most metals you know, like iron, copper, or gold, need incredibly high temperatures to melt. We're talking hundreds or even thousands of degrees Celsius. You need a special furnace for that. But gallium is the cool kid on the block. It just chills out, happy to be a liquid at temperatures where other metals are still very, very solid. This also means that, unlike mercury, which is liquid at typical room temperatures, gallium can be solid at slightly cooler room temperatures, and then easily melt with just a little bit of warmth. It dances right on the edge of being a solid and a liquid in our everyday environment. Here's another super interesting fact about gallium. It expands when it freezes. Most substances shrink when they go from liquid to solid. Think about water freezing into ice. Ice actually takes up space than the water it came from. That's why ice floats and why pipes can burst in winter if water freezes inside them. Gallium is one of the very few substances that does the same thing. It expands by about 3.1% when it solidifies. This means if you have liquid gallium in a glass or metal container that's completely full and sealed, and then you let it freeze, it could crack or break the container. Science is full of surprises. This low melting point has led to one of the most famous gallium tricks, the disappearing spoon. Imagine stirring your hot tea or coffee with a spoon that looks perfectly normal, but then, as you stir, the spoon starts to melt away. It vanishes right into your drink. This isn't a magic trick, it's a spoon made of solid gallium. The hot liquid is well above gallium's melting point, so the spoon simply turns into liquid gallium. Of course, you wouldn't want to drink the tea afterwards, but it's an amazing demonstration of material science. It's a perfect example of how understanding an element's properties can lead to some really fun and astonishing effects. Now, playing with gallium and watching it melt is super fun, but like with any science experiment, safety comes first. The good news is that pure gallium is generally considered to be non-toxic. You can handle it. However, it can be a bit messy. Gallium has a tendency to wet glass and skin, meaning it can leave a grayish stain on your hands if you play with it for a while without gloves. It's not harmful, just a bit like getting ink on your fingers. So wearing thin disposable gloves is a good idea if you're going to be handling it for an extended period, just to keep things clean and avoid those temporary smudges. Even though it's considered non-toxic, you should never, ever eat gallium. It's a metal, not a snack. It might look cool and shiny when it's liquid, but it's not meant to go in your body. Always keep it away from your mouth and eyes. And as with any material you handle for experiments, it's always a good practice to wash your hands thoroughly with soap and water after you're done playing with it or demonstrating its properties. These simple precautions help make sure that your science fun stays safe fun. Remember, responsible experimenting is the best kind of experimenting, but gallium isn't just for cool party tricks and melting spoon gags. This amazing metal has some really important jobs in the world of technology. One of its most significant uses is in making semiconductors. You've heard of Silicon Valley, right? Well, gallium compounds like gallium arsenide, GaAs, and gallium nitride, GaN, are super important for making high-performance electronic components. These are used in things like the integrated circuits in your smartphones, in high-speed computers, and in creating those bright, energy-efficient LED lights that are everywhere now, from your TV screen to traffic lights. So, the next time you see a bright LED light or use your smartphone, there's a good chance gallium is helping to make it work. Gallium is also used in some special types of thermometers, especially for high-temperature applications, as a safer alternative to mercury in some cases. Scientists are even researching its use in new solar panels and in certain medical applications. So, this metal that melts in your hand is not just a curiosity. It's a high-tech hero that's working behind the scenes in many of the gadgets and technologies we use every single day. Gallium, it's soft, it's melty, and it's scientifically spectacular.